Derek Kivi, President CEO, Kivi Brothers. Started here basically, my official start date was, I believe, 1/1/2001, but actually started the first day that my dad and uncles got the first trucks of Kivi Brothers and started the company. So I kind of was born into it and worked here all my life. Never had a different job, and started between washing to working on them to working in the office, and kind of just that's where the conception started anyway. And that's how I evolved into we eventually transitioned into ownership and took over the company and where we are today.
Tyler Kivi, Vice President, Chief Operating Officer. I really like to think of myself as a Chief Branding Officer. I like promoting the company and making sure that everything runs smoothly and make sure that everybody's happy and we do the right thing. My job started right when I was born, similar to Derek. We didn't really have any other choice. It was growing up in the family business and doing what needed to be done, whether it was working in the shop, washing trucks, learning how to dispatch, learning how to get our license through the shop. I think that was kind of like our teaching time. Driving, which is our fundamentals, so we knew what and how to do it. And then working through office and guidance through Derek and Mark and all of the family on how to lead the company, and then transition into ownership, and the rest is history.
I'm Mark Kivi. I'm one of the original founders of the Kivi Bros Trucking. Brothers Robert and Jeff we were equal partners starting up in '95, and to begin with, I guess we started out same with Derek and Tyler, just living it from the day you're born, you're a trucker. That's what we did, and we all enjoyed doing what we did. That's kind of why we kept into it, and just to be able to take a truck and run down the road, that was quite a feat, and just mesmerized of being able to handle a rig. And we all learned the same way through trial and error. Okay, back in the early days, we grew up out in the country on the east side of Duluth and Lakewood, and that was pretty isolated out there. But in our grade school days, our whole family, our dad partnered with Robert Anderson. So starting out actually in 1950s, I believe, he partnered with Robert Anderson. It was Anderson and Kivi Trucking. Our father had the business, and during the summer when us kids would be off school, he'd have to have somebody working at the shop because he never had a dispatcher or receptionist. So as we got older, we couldn't drive or do much else, so we would sit at the shop and answer the phone during the summer. Then on weekends when the trucks were in, we'd go and grease them and wash them. And then as we got older, I think I worked for my dad till 1974 maybe, and then I wanted to drive a fancier truck because I was always last in the line to drive newer equipment, and I didn't like driving that old equipment. So I decided, well, I'm just gonna go buy my own truck, and then I can drive what I want. So then I always wanted a Peterbilt, so I went and bought a Peterbilt in '75, I think it was, and that's when I started Mark Kivi Trucking, and worked that till as an owner-operator till 1995, and my brother Jeff and Robbie each had trucks at the same time too. So we all decided we were going to buy out our father Henry in 1995. We went and got authority, which he never had interstate authority, so we went and applied for it. And so it actually started out re-entitled Kivi Trucking, and then we re-entitled it to Kivi Bros Trucking in '95, and that's when we, Jeff and Robbie and I decided we were equal partners then, and started out with 3 trucks, and we each had 2 flatbeds. So our brother Rick was available and he wanted to drive, so we went and bought a 4th truck and hired him. So then we had 4 trucks, and things just went from there, and then we expanded, and we just kept growing after that, and now here it is.
So growing up in all of the positions that we were able to, unfortunately, able to do, I didn't realize it was a job interview the whole time, because really that's what it was. Every position that we had and every position that we had the opportunity to do was an interview for the bigger picture that, several years ago we didn't know was an opportunity. And then that opportunity presented itself, and we had been trained on many facets of the business. It wasn't like a fish out of water. It was nerve-wracking, right? Becoming that owner of a legacy, I would call it, because that's how we look at it, right? It's all the way from the 40s, all the way through all the different segments of business to what it is and was then, to moving into now. And like Mark had said, they started as a 3-truck group, moved into 4 trucks, and now into the hundreds of trucks. I guess we really couldn't fathom it at that time. It was really just I think a hard working family is what built it. And that's kind of the tradition that we still keep, hard work. We're not afraid to get our hands dirty. Everyone's involved in this operations, and trucking is something that we truly enjoy. It's not just a job. It is an opportunity to experience and travel and move some of the cool things that we get to move. It might be the easiest way to look at it. But yeah, our current operations now is multimodal. We have flatbeds, step deck, Conestoga. We can do RGNs, expandable RGNs, multi-axle. We can do intermodal as well as end dump. So we can move multiple different things across the country. It's no longer just focused in the Midwest. We go all the way down to Florida and California and Maine and Washington, up into Canada and Alaska. So we're not afraid to go anywhere or haul anything. And yeah, we've got a team that's composed of experts that I would say in the open deck industry, and we're proud of it. And it's exciting to be able to continue on and build this company.
Our future goals here at Kivi Brothers are, really just kind of redefining who we are and we know we're one of the best in the business, but not only get ourselves better, because obviously you're not perfect, but to continue to research and develop and see where our lanes are, our networks are, what we're hauling, does it make sense? All that stuff that, in the end makes a company more profitable, and also more profitable for the drivers as well. If the wheels ain't turning, they ain't earning. So if we can continue to develop lanes and networks for these trucks to stay busy and keep rolling, it's going to be a win-win for everybody. We've invested heavily into technology. Obviously partnering up with Motive is a huge safety feature for us, and we're very proud to have it and excited to continue to keep developing. Been in it about a year now with Motive, but as we go, we still are learning stuff and making adjustments. Technology wise, on the backside and the back office for reporting and trying to just get better key metrics, and also weighing and measuring our network are things that we've invested into and rely on day in and day out to continue to make ourselves better. One thing that we like to definitely cherish is, obviously, from the day we started in 1995 as a family organization. We grew up in it from day one, washing trucks to dispatching and everything down the line. So in the end, we would like to take, or we hope anyway, that our children will be interested in it and we can continue the family legacy and continue on to 4th generation at some point down the road. Now, our kids are quite young yet, so we've got some time, but we started washing, I'd say probably around 12 years old. So I guess in the end, we're not too far away from being able to start migrating some of these kids of ours into the business. The brother side of it might be a little bit more difficult because we don't have as many boys as we have girls. But in the end, we're definitely excited, and we hope that it's something that they take passion in and care about and want to be a part of as well.
Wow, the next 30 years, that's a tough question to answer what that's going to look like. I believe our mission is to keep this company personal. That's been our mission for the last year, and I know it's going to be our future mission to make sure that we separate the technology and how close we can get through technology, but also keep it on a personal level. And I know we're on a mission to haul bigger and heavier loads. Like, that's always one of our goals. I think that'll always be a passion. But we're also focused on being disciplined and unique to a specific niche market. It's a hard work, to put into that, to find what fits us and what we fit as far as a customer level. But yeah, we plan to keep growing and keep finding ways to find those specialized markets where our drivers like being. They like hauling those big loads, job site loads, custom tailored to our equipment and to what the driver's skill set is. So we keep planning to stay into that market and hopefully find new emerging markets as time continues. But yeah, it's the next 30 years it's exciting to think about, and it's scary at the same time because you don't know what it could bring.
One of the reasons my getting out of the business and retiring, the technology was changing so fast, and Tyler and Derek were just coming into the business in that part of it, and they were just so eager to get into these new things, so it just worked out perfect that they were already groomed and trained. They walked right into the business and took right over. Didn't have to train them at all because they had already been trained working there all their life, so it worked out perfect.
My earliest memories of our truck count when we started was in the 20s, I believe. I think we were in the 20 trucks. It was enough to support a shop, so we had mechanics and we had office staff, and then we had drivers. So it was small enough to where everything was pen and paper. There wasn't really technology to back any of that up. It was memory and trustworthiness. Right? You sent your drivers out. Cell phones were still kind of new. I don't want to say like I'm not that old, so I don't want to say that cell phones didn't exist, but they were still kind of a new tool, and it wasn't like common to have a GPS on your truck, paper logs, those type of things that maybe seem distant now. That's how it was and how it was ran, and when we started getting involved past just the maintenance side of the world and washing trucks and actually getting on the front line with customers was when we really, I think, got energized. And that's when we were able to take our truck count from the teens and the 20s into the hundreds, was following those principles that Mark and Robbie and Jeff had set. The precedence of hard work, do what you say you're going to do, be on time, because that was what mattered. You really couldn't maintain a customer base or a customer at all if you didn't follow through, because it really wasn't contracts. It's pen and paper or what your word. And that's how we build. That's how we did everything. And then as we started to get more advanced and more trucks, we had to kind of maybe catch up with the times. And we started to implement software, and that was actually Derek, who was our tech guy, I would say, back then. He was the one that kind of championed and pioneered and found what platforms to use and helped us evolve through that. Our first GPS, I remember that. Although it wasn't completely necessary at the time, it was a big moment for us because it was kind of like, wow, we can actually do more. We can plan better. We don't have to call you or wait for you to call to get ahead of the situation. The visibility and the transparency was, so nice. And then continuing to move on with those same principles of hard work, do what you say you're going to do, continuing to meet and find new customers, being out on the front line. Many of the customers that we've gained or still do have from back in the day were when we were out there bootstrapping it and loading the load, tarping it, whatever it was with our local customers. And then eventually just the phone, email, like starting to display those same principles through, over the air and through the internet. And it didn't take long for customers to see that they're going to follow through. And there's been plenty of times, especially around holidays, where Derek or myself had to take a load because we couldn't get it covered. It just didn't make sense. But we knew that our word was all we had, and we had to follow through with that. And we did. We have stories upon stories, I think, and Derek might blame some of them on me, maybe getting too confident, too much freight. Sometimes it's hard to say no in this industry. Once you get going to something, you feel really good with yes. And Derek and I and Dakota and really everyone in the family did whatever it took to make sure we saw it through. So that's some of the early memories I have of just getting into it and growing and getting technology brought into the industry, as well as gaining customers.
First off, I would like to thank all of our current employees and even some of our former employees that aren't with us any longer. But in the end, it took every single one of these people that have been a part of this organization to get us to where we are today. Without everybody's contributions, we wouldn't be anything. So again, just want to thank every single person, whether it's driver, non-driver staff, everybody that's been a part to our success is huge to us, and we definitely are appreciative of what they've done. Our pride here at Kivi Brothers is something that we take very high. whenever we see a red truck coming down the road, it always puts a smile on my face, whether it's dirty or clean. We used to, obviously, when we were a lot smaller fleet, and myself and Tyler would wash. It would be trucks got dirty, we'd go wash them that night. Well, it's not quite at that level anymore. I wish we could be, but it's not feasible when the trucks are all over the country. But in the end, to see one of our red trucks going down the road, and not only us, but many people that I see, I'll see whether it's a family member or just an old friend, be like, oh, hey, I seen one of your trucks the other day, so they do stand out, and it's definitely a huge piece of our pride here at Kivi Brothers, and definitely something we cherish. We're definitely excited for 2025 being our 30th year as Kivi Bros Trucking. It's huge. It's a milestone. It's something I never dreamt we'd get to this point, and here we are. So definitely excited to see what the next 30 years holds, and thank you to everybody.
Mark talked about when he wanted to buy his own special truck because he wanted a nice truck. I think that's something that we continue to uphold. I believe our trucks are the best in this industry. If you don't believe it, check it out for yourself, or ask a driver you see, or just in a truck stop and you see a red Kivi truck, you're going to know that it stands out and it's different. And that's something we take pride in, and I think we're going to continue to be the best in that arena. We're going to have the nicest trucks, we're going to have all the amenities, and we're going to make sure our drivers are taken care of. And that was something that's Mark started, and we're going to continue into the future. I think many companies like to say they have an open door policy, and it's kind of a cliche, but I believe here at Kivi, we are small enough where you have access to everybody. There's no somebody hidden behind a door or special person. We're available. We're boots on the ground. We're helping make sure you're successful. But we're also large enough to take care of you and give a wage to a driver that is substantial, and benefits and all of the features that a driver wants, with the comfort of a small office atmosphere.
I wanted to thank everyone involved, especially Derek and Tyler, for wanting the ambition to take over the business, and hopefully in the next 30 years they'll prosper and do well.
Thank you, everybody, all employees and our customers. Without our customers, I hate to forget to mention them, but without our customers, we wouldn't be anything either. So again, thank you to all our drivers and non-driver staff.
We wouldn't be here without our family. That's the most important. Our uncles, our dad, our wives, our kids that are going to be soon to be in this industry. We wouldn't be here without our customers. They're the ones that stood beside us and allowed us to have this opportunity to grow. And we wouldn't be here without our drivers and our non-driver staff that helped make everything just happen. So we're really excited for our 30th anniversary and eager to see what comes.